Robert, we're excited that you're joining us today. So thanks.
It is my pleasure. 45 years in EMS, and I am thrilled to be standing here talking to you.
Well, I can't wait. For those that don't know you, Robert, kind of tell us a little bit about your background and who you are and, what you've done for EMS in the community. You've paved the way for many of us, and we can't wait to hear a little bit about it and share it with others.
I appreciate that. I'm only as good as those I surround myself with, and I know you're very much aware of that. So I'm Robert Byrd, and I'm a career Tennessee paramedic. I'm also a healthcare and transportation lobbyist that come late in my career, and I've got 45 years in
That is a long time. That is a long time.
I'm thrilled with that.
What year did you start?
I started April the 5th, 1979. And I retire on April the 6th. So I will have put in 45 years in one day, which was always a personal goal of mine.
Wow. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. So tell us about that journey, Robert. Yes. There's a lot of change. I mean, you're in the emergency days, which I grew up watching. Obviously, we all know about that. But, to where we are now, what has the journey been like for you?
If I take too long, you just interrupt me and say, speed up, Robert, because it's an incredible journey, an incredible story. I started in April of 79 in Morgan County, Tennessee. We had 2 ambulances.
Okay.
And I truly am. I can say this with pride. I truly was an ambulance driver, quote, because when I started, I didn't have an EMT license. Okay. I didn't even know CPR.
Wow.
I started in April as a driver, and all you had to have to be on an ambulance service then was I was 19 years old. I wasn't even 21. And I had a special chauffeur's license. That's all that was required.
Yes.
And I got the job. And then I went to a CPR class. Then I went to EMT school in the fall of 79, paramedic school. And what a great ride. Field paramedic for 11 years in Morgan and Anderson County. And I had the honor of being recruited to UT Lifestar in August of 1990. And it was a great career. It was one of the best jobs I've ever had. I never intended to leave there. I always thought I would retire from there because I loved it. And during that time, I had the opportunity to be recruited to be a chief in Anderson County. I took it, retired from public service after 30 years and 47 days. I count. I'm a counter.
I love it.
30 years and 47 days in public service as a paramedic and an EMS chief, and immediately went to work for a company called AirVac Life Team, which transitioned into, over the 15 years, Global Medical Response, which is the largest emergency system in the world.
Yes.
And I'm a vice president over government affairs, and I lobby and battle EMS legislation and regulations. Yeah. And the journey that you speak about, I've witnessed the evolution of EMS from fast driving, pressure dressing to, surgical airways and chest tubes and slowing down and treating the patient on the scene and in the ambulance and in the helicopter. And then I've also seen the transition of, we're taking too long treating patients. So we had to go through a several year transition there of speeding up our time on the scenes. We had gotten too carried away with it. It's a work in progress, and it remains to this day a work in progress. We still don't have it perfected.
Definitely.
We've came so far in this business, and the advancement of patient care. When I was an EMS chief, I used to tell my staff, always put patient care first, because if you put patient care first, your decisions will defend themselves. You won't have to defend what you did. Your patient care defends itself. Always put the patient care first. We'll work out the details after the fact. And I've enjoyed getting to be a part of saving people's lives. Eric, I used to say as a young paramedic, I used to really be proud when I would introduce myself and say, hey, I save people's lives. And as I got a few years on me, I started realizing I need to grow up a little bit. I'm nothing more than a tool that saves people's lives. And once I grasped the concept of I'm just a tool and I'm part of a team.
Yeah, absolutely. Part of the team.
It became so much better and easier for me to bring team members in and help me.
Wow. Robert, is incredible. I want to ask you one last question.
Yes, sir.
So you're now, 45 years into this journey. You've learned a lot. You've been around a lot of leaders. So what would you say to a new leader that is coming up to you and they said, Robert, I want to know 2 things that you know that I need to know now that would make an impact in my life. Give us 1 or 2.
I appreciate that question. And it's a very rehearsed answer for me because while many people don't know this or realize that I have a men's mentoring ministry and I mentor young men in this profession.
Okay.
And most of my mentoring is about really the mistakes I've made and what I've learned. Yeah. While there are great lessons, there are also great lessons in the mistakes.
Sure.
I share that with these younger men to help build their leadership. I think the number one leadership quality, whether it's EMS, whether it's corporate business, which is what I'm in now, or ministry, or even in this facility working here, the key to leadership is being a servant leader. That was a discipline that was instilled in me that came, I think, fairly easy for me to learn because it was instilled to me as a young man. But I found that challenge as a leader in EMS. Many of our young women and young men haven't really been exposed to servant leadership because servant leadership is the key to success because that's what builds a team. It's just not about me. When I was younger and arrogant, it was about me, and I had to go through those times and mistakes. It's about teamwork, and the best way to be a teammate is to be a servant leader. Serve your staff. Give them every tool they need, lead them, and serve them, and the rest will work itself.
Love it. That's absolutely beautiful. And it's something that was common. We just had a conversation with Jimmy Edwards, who you know.
One of my favorite people.
Me too.
Outstanding Tennessee leader.
And your example and his example, and that there's a lot of value in that because both of you have that experience. But coming from both of you, and you're not here together to talk about what it means to serve is such an impactful thing. And I just want to thank you for serving all of us and leading the way for everything that you've done. And the lessons that we've learned from people like yourself. And we're just honored that you spent this time today. And I want to personally thank you for everything you've done for all of us in this community.
Thank you. I appreciate that. What I would like to leave every EMT and paramedic and nurse and pilot that's in EMS, I would like to leave them with this. You will not know this side of heaven how many lives you participated in saving. But when you get to heaven, you'll know.
That's amazing. Robert, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate your service.
Yeah, thank you.
If you like this episode, check out the full podcast right here. If you want to see more videos, you need to check out right here. Remember, the most important person you're ever going to lead is you.